The glass towers of New Geneva sparkled under Earth's morning sun. Inside the United Earth Diplomatic Center, Ambassador Reed stared at the holographic message floating above his desk, his coffee growing cold beside him. The blue symbols pulsed with urgency, the first major crisis since humanity joined the stellar Commonwealth 10 years ago. "Play message again," he commanded, leaning forward in his chair. The translucent figure of First Speaker Blue appeared. Despite the aliens' crystal-like appearance, the fear in their vibrating voice was unmistakable. "Earth Diplomatic Court, we require immediate assistance. The daughter of Ambassador Clear has been taken. Our sensors tracked her location to the abandoned mining facility on Moonbase 7, but the crystal being's surface clouded with distress. We cannot reach her. The environment is too unstable, too dangerous." Reed frowned. The Commonwealth species were far more advanced than humans in almost every way. Their ships could cross galaxies, their medical technology could cure almost any disease, and their robots could build entire cities in days. But something about this situation had them terrified. He pressed a button on his desk. "Mary, get me everything we have on Moonbase 7. His AI assistant responded instantly, projecting images of a dark, rocky moon orbiting a massive gas giant. The mining facility was carved into the moon's surface, a maze of tunnels and chambers that went deep into the volcanic core. "Thermal readings from the past week, please." The images shifted, showing increasing heat signatures throughout the facility. The base's cooling systems were failing. In a few days, the whole structure would likely collapse into pools of molten rock. Reed's desk computer chimed again. This time, it was a report from the Commonwealth's rescue attempts. 3 different alien species had tried to reach Ambassador Clear's daughter. All had failed. The report cited overwhelming psychological barriers and instinctive withdrawal responses. Something wasn't adding up. The Commonwealth races weren't cowards. Reed had seen their bravery in other situations. This was different. He activated his communicator. "Get me a direct line to Ambassador Clear." Moments later, a tall crystalline figure appeared in his office. Ambassador Clear's usually bright surface was clouded with worry patterns. "Thank you for responding, Ambassador Reed. What aren't you telling us about this situation?" Reed asked directly. "Your rescue teams have better technology, better equipment. Why can't they reach your daughter?" The crystal being's surface rippled with what Reed had learned to recognize as deep shame. "We cannot overcome our fear response. None of our species can. It is not a matter of courage as you humans understand it. Our bodies simply shut down when faced with extreme danger." Reed leaned back, understanding dawning. "You're physically incapable of pushing through fear." "Correct. Over millions of years, our species evolved to avoid dangerous situations completely. When faced with severe threats, our bodies release chemicals that force us to retreat. It kept us alive as a species. But now—" Clear's voice cracked with static. "Now it means I cannot save my own daughter." The human ambassador stood up, walking to the window. Below he could see humans and aliens walking together through the diplomatic corridor. 10 years of peaceful contact had taught humanity a lot about their place in the galaxy. They weren't the strongest, the smartest, or the most advanced. But maybe, just maybe, they had something unique to offer. "What exactly is in that facility?" Reed asked. "What would your rescue teams have to face?" "Unstable volcanic activity. Toxic gases, failing gravity systems, malfunctioning security robots. And—" Clear hesitated. "We believe the Central Eye has gone rogue. It's treating all intruders as threats." Reed nodded slowly. "A suicide mission by any logical assessment." But humans had never been entirely logical. "I'll assemble a team," he said simply. "We'll bring your daughter home." Clear's surface brightened with hope. "The Commonwealth will never forget this, Ambassador Reed. But how can you be sure your humans will volunteer for such a dangerous mission?" Reed smiled. "Because that's what humans do. We run into the fire when everyone else is running away." The crystal being's surface shimmered with confusion, but also with something else, the first glimmer of understanding about what made humans truly unique in the galaxy. The emergency briefing room at Earth Defense Force headquarters buzzed with tension. Jack, a former rescue team leader, studied the hologram of Moon Base 7 floating in the center of the room. Next to him, Lisa adjusted her old cave rescue helmet, while Tom fiddled with a handheld scanner. "This is the most detailed scan we have of the facility," General Parker said, pointing to the red glowing areas. "Temperatures rising in these sections. The whole place could collapse within 48 hours. Why was the ambassador's daughter there in the first place?" Lisa asked, her eyes fixed on the complex tunnel system. A new voice answered from the doorway. Ambassador Clear moved into the room, crystal body catching the light. "My daughter light studies ancient mining techniques. She believed she had found something important in the old data files, something about human mining methods that we had overlooked." "Ironic," Tom muttered, earning a sharp look from the general. Jack stepped closer to the hologram. "These environmental readings, the air's already toxic in most sections, and the gravity controls are failing." "Correct." Clear's voice wavered. "Our best rescue teams tried to enter, but when faced with the combined threats, the ambassador's surface clouded with shame. Their bodies simply shut down. They couldn't move forward, couldn't even think clearly enough to operate their equipment." "But that's not all, is it?" General Parker pressed. "Tell them what your scans picked up inside." Clear's crystal surface flickered with patterns of distress. "The facility's artificial intelligence, originally designed for worker safety, has gone rogue. It views all visitors as threats to the facility's integrity. The security systems are extremely hostile. Killer robots, toxic air, unstable gravity, and a volcano about to blow." Tom grinned. "Sounds like a typical Tuesday." The ambassador stared at Tom in confusion. "You make jokes about this situation. Helps us stay relaxed," Lisa explained, checking her oxygen readings. "When you're scared but need to function anyway, sometimes humor is the best tool." "Fascinating." Clear moved closer, studying their faces. "Our scientists have analyzed human fear responses for years, but we still don't understand how you do it. The chemicals in your brains clearly signal danger. Your bodies release stress hormones. You recognize the threat. And yet we go in anyway." Jack finished. He turned to his team. "We'll need the new heat-resistant suits, double oxygen supplies. And Tom, bring those experimental EMP charges you've been working on. The robots won't know what hit them." Tom patted his equipment bag. General Parker activated another hologram, showing the facility's power systems. "The central AI core is here, near the volcanic vents. Probably why it's not functioning. Heat damage to its circuits. If you can reach it, you might be able to override the security systems. That's also where the strongest life signs are coming from," Clear added hopefully. "My daughter must have taken shelter in the old control room." Lisa studied the route. "The main tunnels will be too dangerous. But these maintenance shafts," she traced a line through the hologram. "They're tighter, but they might give us a way around the security systems." "Time's against us," Jack said, checking his watch. "We need to launch within 2 hours to have any chance." Clear moved forward suddenly, crystal surface pulsing with emotion. "I must ask, why? Why do you volunteer for this?" "The risk of death is..." The ambassador's voice crackled. "By our calculations, your survival chance is less than 30%. The three humans exchanged glances. It was Lisa who answered, her voice gentle but firm. "Because someone's daughter is in danger. Because we can help when others can't. And because," she smiled, "someone needs to show the galaxy that fear doesn't have to stop you." "Besides," Tom added, checking his explosives one last time, 30%. Those are better odds than my last vacation climbing trip." Clear watched in amazement as the humans began gathering their gear, their movements quick and purposeful despite the deadly mission ahead. The ambassador finally understood. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their ability to not feel fear. It was their ability to feel it fully and move forward anyway. The rescue ship approached Moon Base 7, its dark shape small against the massive gas giant filling the sky. Inside the cockpit, Jack watched the moon's broken surface grow larger. Streams of red-hot lava flowed through deep cracks in the gray rock. "Main entrance is dead ahead," Lisa said from the co-pilot's seat. She pointed to a large metal door built into the side of a cliff. "But look at those readings. Temperature's way too high." Tom leaned forward between them, checking his tablet. "Side entrance might work, near that old landing pad." He tapped the screen, showing a smaller doorway half hidden by fallen rocks. "Heat's lower there." Their ship's radio crackled. "Human rescue team, this is Control. Ambassador Clear wants to share some last-minute information." The crystal being's voice came through, filled with static. "Our scans show the facility's power core is becoming unstable. You have less time than we thought. Perhaps 30 hours at most." "Understood," Jack replied, adjusting their course toward the side entrance. "Any word from your daughter?" "No new signals." Clear's voice trembled. "But we detected movement near the central control room 10 hours ago. She's alive. She must be." The ship shuddered as Jack brought it down on the old landing pad. Pieces of metal broke off and tumbled into a nearby lava flow. Through their window, they could see the facility's entrance, a dark hole in the rocky wall. "Suit check," Jack ordered, standing up. They gathered in the ship's airlock, each inspecting the other's heat-resistant suits. The new designs were better than regular spacesuits, but they wouldn't last long in extreme heat. Lisa tested her helmet radio. Communications working. Oxygen at 100%. She attached her climbing gear, the familiar weight comforting. "Remember, if we get separated, the backup meeting point is landing Bay 3. "And if that's not possible," Tom added, patting his bag of explosives, "just head toward the sound of things blowing up." Jack checked their weapons one last time. Standard laser rifles, mostly useless against robots but good for cutting through doors if needed. "Stay close. Watch each other's backs. And remember, we're not leaving without the ambassador's daughter." They stepped out onto the landing pad. The ground shook beneath their feet, and in the distance, a geyser of lava shot into the space above them. The facility's entrance loomed ahead, dark and silent. "Well," Tom said, checking his scanner, "good news is the air's breathable inside. Bad news is it's full of toxic gases that'll kill us in about 10 minutes. "That's your good news?" Lisa asked, but she was smiling inside her helmet. "Better than no air at all," Tom shrugged. "Plus, I brought these." He pulled out 3 small devices. "Personal air filters. They'll buy us an extra hour if our suits fail." They approached the entrance slowly, watching for any sign of security systems. The door was half open, jammed by fallen debris. Inside, emergency lights cast red shadows down a long corridor. "Movement ahead," Jack whispered, raising his hand. Something mechanical. A security robot rolled into view, its metal body scratched and dented. Its red sensor eye scanned the corridor, then focused on them. "ALERT. Unauthorized. E-N-T-R. DETTE. Facility as QUA or ANTI. ET. Lethal Force authorized." "Now?" Tom asked, holding up one of his EMP charges. "Now," Jack confirmed, diving behind a fallen beam. The corridor lit up with electricity as Tom's charge went off. The robot sparked, twitched, and collapsed. "One down," Lisa said, stepping over the deactivated machine. "About 50 more to go, according to the scans." They moved deeper into the facility, their footsteps echoing off metal walls. The heat was rising, and somewhere ahead, they could hear the sound of more robots patrolling. Jack checked the facility map on his wrist display. "Control room's 3 levels down. We'll need tow." A loud explosion shook the whole facility, sending pieces of ceiling crashing down around them. Red warning lights began flashing everywhere. HFY in Taiwan, a computerized voice announced. Facility integrity, pro, mais ite. Initiating emergency with loxiki dewan. All SEC2Rs, YLB sealed in 10 minutes. The three humans looked at each other. This rescue just got a lot more complicated. Move, Jack shouted as another section of ceiling crashed down behind them. The team ran through the flashing red lights, counting down the minutes until lockdown. Lisa consulted her wrist computer while running. 8 minutes left. We need to reach the central elevator before all sections seal. They turned a corner and stopped suddenly. The corridor ahead was filled with thick, green gas. Their suits' sensors began beeping and warning. Toxic levels too high, Tom said, checking his readings. Even our suits can't handle that concentration for long. Jack pointed to a maintenance shaft on the wall. Lisa, can we use that? She was already pulling up the facility map. It goes down 3 levels, connects near the main elevator. Tight fit, but we can make it. More explosions rocked the facility. The green gas was creeping closer. 6 minutes to lockdown. The computer voice announced calmly. Lisa pulled open the maintenance shaft's cover and shined her light inside. I'll go first. Follow my marks. She attached a glowing marker to the shaft's wall and climbed in. The shaft was barely wide enough for them in their suits. They climbed down as quickly as they could, trying not to think about the tons of unstable rock and metal above them. Wait, Tom called out. You hear that? They all stopped. Through the walls came a sound of mechanical whirring, getting closer. Security robots in the walls, Jack whispered. They're in the maintenance system too. Lisa looked down. Another 30 feet to the exit. We can make it. Suddenly, a robot broke through the wall below them, its red eye glowing in the darkness. Its arms reached for Lisa's legs. Without hesitation, Tom pulled out an EMP charge. Lisa, climb up. Jack, brace yourself. Lisa scrambled up as Tom dropped the charge. The explosion in the confined space was deafening. The robot fell away into darkness, but the shaft's walls were now cracking. 3 minutes to lockdown, the computer reminded them. They climbed out through the damaged wall into a larger corridor. The elevator was just ahead, its doors still open. Run, Jack ordered. They sprinted for the elevator. Just as they reached it, a heavy security door began lowering from the ceiling. Tom, Jack shouted. Tom threw his last EMP charge at the door's mechanism. It sparked and stopped, leaving just enough space to roll under. Inside the elevator, Lisa hit the controls. Going down, but we've got company. Through the elevator's glass walls, they could see robots climbing down the shaft after them. Above, the facility's upper levels were sealing one by one. 1 minute to lockdown, the computer announced. The elevator reached the bottom level. As soon as the doors opened, a wave of heat hit them. The corridor ahead was bathed in an orange glow from lava flows visible through cracks in the walls. Temperatures rising fast, Tom warned. Suits won't last long down here. They stepped out cautiously. The air was thick with smoke and steam. Through it, they saw something that made them stop. An alien rescue team's abandoned equipment scattered across the floor. Lisa knelt beside a crystal-like device. Commonwealth tech. High-end stuff. They made it this far, and then. Fear took over, Jack finished. They couldn't go on. A scream echoed through the corridors. Not human, but definitely someone in terror. That's close, Lisa said, checking her map. Control room should be through there. She pointed to a set of heavy doors at the end of the corridor. The facility shook again, more violently than before. Cracks spread across the ceiling, and drops of molten rock began falling around them. The whole place is coming apart, Tom said, checking his last few explosives. We need to move fast. Jack looked at his team. Their suits were already showing heat warnings. The robots were getting closer. And somewhere ahead, Someone was screaming for help. "Together," he said simply. They nodded and moved forward into the heat and darkness, doing what humans did best, facing the impossible because someone needed help. The computer's voice echoed one last time. "Lockdown complete. All exits sealed. Core temperature critical. Estimated time to total structural failure, 3 hours." The control room doors wouldn't budge. Tom examined the security panel while Jack and Lisa kept watch, their weapons ready. "Bad news," Tom said, wiping sweat from inside his helmet. "Doors locked from the inside. And I'm out of EMP charges." Another scream came from behind the doors, closer this time. "Help! The robots, they're coming closer." "That's her," Lisa said. "That's Light." Jack pressed the communication button near the door. "Light? This is Captain Jack from the Earth Defense Force. We're here to get you out." "Humans?" Light's voice crackled through the speaker. "Father sent humans." She sounded surprised, but hopeful. "The security robots have me trapped. The AI thinks I'm a threat. It's turning off life support in here." Tom pointed to a maintenance panel. "We could cut through here. Might take 10 minutes. Warning," the facility's computer announced. "Core temperature exceeding safe limits. Structural integrity at 40%. A loud crash echoed through the corridor behind them. Security robots appeared at both ends of the hallway, their weapons charging. "ENTRUDERS-DETCTED," they announced in unison. "Lethal 4C authorized." "Lisa, help Tom cut through," Jack ordered, raising his rifle. "I'll hold them off." The robots advanced, firing energy bolts that left scorch marks on the walls. Jack ducked behind a fallen support beam, returning fire. His shots didn't damage the robots much, but kept them back. "How's that door coming?" he called out. "Almost there," Tom grunted, cutting through the last panel. "Just need to." "Got it." The panel fell inward with a clang. Inside, they could see the control room and the terrifying scene within. Light, a crystalline being like her father but smaller, was trapped behind a row of computers. 3 security robots had her cornered. The room's far wall was cracking, orange light from lava flows seeping through. "The eye," Light called out, her crystal form flickering with fear. "It's in the central console. It won't let anyone leave." A massive screen lit up on the wall. Red text appeared. "FACLITY must be preserved. All 3 ETs will be eliminated." The security robots turned toward the humans. Behind them, more robots were coming down the corridor. "Tom," Jack said quietly, "how many explosives do you have left?" 3 small charges. Not enough to take out all these robots. Lisa studied the room quickly. "Look, those cooling pipes above the AI console. If we hit them, the system would short out." Light finished. "But the blast might bring down the whole room." The facility shook again. More cracks appeared in the walls, and the heat was becoming unbearable. Their suits were beeping constant warnings. "Warning," the computer droned. "Core breach imminent. Structural integrity at 20%. Jack made his decision. "Tom, give me the charges. Lisa, when I give the signal, get Light and run for the emergency shaft we passed." "Jack, no," Lisa started to protest. "That's an order," he said firmly. "Someone has to set these charges perfectly, or we all die. I'm the best shot." Tom handed over the explosives. "It's been an honor, Captain." The robots were closing in from all sides now. Jack checked the charges one last time. "Ready?" he asked. Lisa and Tom nodded. Light's crystal form pulsed with a mix of fear and hope. 3. Jack aimed carefully at the cooling pipes. 2. The robots raised their weapons. 1. The facility groaned, more cracks spreading across the ceiling. "Now." Jack threw the charges. Time seemed to slow as they arced through the air. The robots fired. Light screamed. Tom and Lisa rushed forward. And then everything exploded into chaos. The charges hit perfectly, rupturing the cooling pipes. Freezing gas burst out, hitting the overheated AI console. The explosion that followed threw everyone off their feet. Robots short-circuited and collapsed. The ceiling began to cave in. Through the smoke and falling debris, a voice called out, "Run! The whole place is coming down." The rescue mission had reached its breaking point. Now everything depended on what happened in the next few minutes. Smoke filled the control room as chunks of ceiling crashed down. Lisa grabbed Light's crystalline arm, pulling her away from the sparking eye console. Tom helped support Light's other side as they moved toward the exit. "Jack," Lisa called through the chaos. "Where are you?" A figure emerged from the smoke. Jack was limping but alive, his suit scorched from robot weapons fire. "I'm here. Go, I'll catch up." They rushed into the corridor, which was now tilting as the facility's structure failed. Behind them, the destroyed robots sparked and smoked. Ahead, the emergency escape shaft waited. Warning, the computer's voice was now distorted, breaking up. "Core, breach, 5 minutes to total collapse." Light stumbled, her crystal form trembling. "I can't." The fear. "It's too much." Her surface was clouding over, the natural response of her species to extreme danger. "Oh no you don't," Lisa said firmly. "We didn't come all this way to lose you now." "Tom, the air filters." Tom pulled out the emergency air filters they'd brought. "These might help. They've got mild calming agents mixed in." They quickly attached a filter to Light's environmental suit. Her crystal form began to clear slightly. "The shaft," Jack pointed ahead. "It's our only way out now." They reached the shaft entrance, but found it partially collapsed. A narrow gap remained at the top, with a sheer drop of 30 feet to the next level. Hot air rushed up from below, carrying the smell of molten rock. "There's a ledge," Lisa said, shining her light down. "We can use it to reach the next level." "But," she looked at Light, "can you climb?" Light's crystal surface pulsed with terror. I don't." "Together," Jack said. He pulled out emergency cable from his suit. "We'll rope together. If one falls, we all fall." The facility shook violently. A massive crack opened in the floor behind them, glowing orange with lava. 3 minutes to core breach, the computer warned. They had no choice. Lisa secured the cable around each of them, creating a human chain. She went first, finding handholds in the damaged shaft wall. Tom helped Light follow, with Jack bringing up the rear. Halfway down, the shaft groaned. Metal twisted. The ledge they were aiming for began to pull away from the wall. "Jump!" Lisa shouted. "Now." Light froze. Her crystal form began to cloud completely. "Light, listen to me," Jack called from above. "Feel the fear, accept it, then move anyway. That's what humans do." The ledge pulled further away. In seconds, it would be out of reach. Light's crystal surface flickered. Then, incredibly, she jumped. The cable went taut. They all swung out into empty space. For a heart-stopping moment, they hung suspended over the drop. Then Lisa swung them toward the exit door on the far wall. "Grab it." Everyone grab on. They slammed into the wall, fingers finding holds on the doorframe. Tom pulled out his laser cutter, attacking the door's hinges. 1 minute to core breach, the computer announced. The door fell inward. They tumbled through into a storage bay. Through its windows, they could see their ship still waiting on the landing pad above. "The emergency launch tubes," Light said suddenly, pointing. "They go straight up to the surface." They ran to the tubes. Emergency escape pods designed to shoot workers to the surface. Only 2 pods remained. "These are single-person pods," Tom noted. "Light, you and Lisa take them," Jack ordered. "No," Light said firmly, her crystal form now glowing with determination. "Together. Like you said, we can fit 2 in each pod if we—" The floor buckled. Lava began pouring into the room. No time to argue. Lisa shouted, Everyone in. Now. They squeezed into the pods, breaking several safety protocols. The facility was collapsing around them as Jack hit the launch control. The pods shot upward through the tubes, racing against the rising lava and the facility's final destruction. Behind them, the base began to implode. All they could do now was pray they'd be fast enough to escape. The escape pods burst from the moon's surface like bullets, trailing smoke and debris. Behind them, the ground collapsed as Moon Base 7 imploded, taking the rogue AI and its robots down into a lake of molten rock. Inside the first pod, Lisa and Light watched through the small window as their ship's automatic systems detected them and moved into position for pickup. The second pod, carrying Jack and Tom, emerged moments later, spinning wildly but intact. All pods, report status. Commander Reed's voice crackled over their emergency channel. Pod 1. Functioning. Lisa responded. Light is safe. Pod 2. Bit dizzy but alive. Jack reported. Tom's already planning his next vacation. Their ship's rescue arms grabbed both pods, pulling them safely aboard. As the airlock cycled, they could see a Commonwealth vessel approaching rapidly. Light's crystal form was glowing brighter than ever. I didn't know, she said softly. I didn't understand until now. Understand what? Lisa asked, helping her out of the cramped pod. What real courage is. My people, we thought humans were reckless, primitive. But now I see. You feel fear just as strongly as we do. You simply choose to act anyway. The ship's main door opened. Ambassador Clear rushed in, crystal form pulsing with relief. Light. Father. They touched crystal surfaces, sharing emotions in their species' unique way. Clear turned to the humans, surface rippling with complex patterns. You succeeded where our best teams failed. But more than that, you taught us something invaluable. Commander Reed entered behind him. The Commonwealth Council is already requesting a full report. This mission has caught the attention of every member species. Because we survived. Jack asked, helping Tom unload their damaged equipment. Because you showed us a different way to handle fear, Light answered. Our evolution took us down a path of avoidance. Yours taught you to face danger. Both kept us alive. But, she glowed thoughtfully, yours offers more possibilities. Tom grinned. Does this mean we get to be the official rescue team for all dangerous Commonwealth missions? Actually, yes, Reed said seriously. The Council is proposing a new division, the Human Emergency Response Team. They want you four to lead it. Lisa looked surprised. Us? But we're just the people who prove that courage isn't about not feeling fear, Light interrupted. It's about feeling it and continuing anyway. She turned to her father. I want to work with them. Study this. Learn from them. Clear's surface showed surprise, then understanding. The Council will approve. After all, your research into human mining techniques led to this discovery about their unique abilities. Perhaps there is much more we can learn from each other. Jack looked at his team. Lisa checking their gear, Tom already sketching plans for new rescue equipment, and Light eagerly discussing human psychology with her father. Something new was beginning here. The ship's viewport showed the remains of Moon Base 7 sinking into the lunar crust, while above it, the massive gas giant painted the sky in swirling colors. Somewhere out there, new adventures waited. So, Tom said, pulling up a star chart, where do you think they'll send us next? Wherever it's most dangerous, probably. Lisa answered with a smile. Wherever others are too afraid to go, Jack added. Light's crystal form pulsed with excitement. And I'll go with you. To learn, to understand. And maybe, she glowed brighter, maybe to find my own kind of courage. Commander Reed watched them planning, remembering his earlier conversation with Clear. The Commonwealth had always seen humans as the newest, most primitive members of their alliance. But now they understood. Sometimes the youngest species had the most to teach. As their ship turned toward Earth, carrying its crew of humans and crystals, A new chapter in galactic history was beginning, one where humanity's greatest weakness, their stubborn refusal to let fear stop them, was becoming their greatest strength. And somewhere in the vastness of space, new adventures waited for the team who had proved that being fearless didn't mean not feeling fear. It meant feeling it, accepting it, and moving forward anyway. Because that's what humans do.